Howdy. My name is Caden Hall, and this is our presentation for deliverable four. We chose to do the Bridge Ministries. Um, so what is Bridge Ministries? The Bridge Ministries is a faith-based nonprofit food pantry in Bryan, Texas. It was founded in 2010, and it serves roughly 350 families each month with dignity and compassion. It's the only evening-based pantry in Brazos County. It is open on Thursdays from 5:30 to 7 p.m., which allows families who are at work and school to just come and get stuff from the pantry, who usually would not be able to due to strict hours. Also, it provides groceries and non-food essentials at no cost, no questions asked. Um, And here are the three issues that we found. Issue one being a volunteer shortage. There is a constant need for volunteers to distribute food and essentials. Without volunteers, staffing costs would burden the church's budget, and volunteering strengthens the community and preserves funding for outreach. Um, Issue number two, there's a limited variety of food, and we chose this to be our main focus for this project. Um, Donations often consist of basic necessities such as non-perishable foods and other basic necessities. Families may grow tired of the same items and will want something healthier and more diverse. And there are fresh items donated, but they usually are given away quickly, causing less variety. Some of these fresh items may include um, just different types of meats and different fruits and vegetables. But obviously, due to these foods having low shelf life and being very perishable, they get distributed quickly. So people who come at the end of the day might not be able to get that. Um, and then we also saw a need for some other basic necessities like personal hygiene, that being soap, shampoo, and even stuff for babies like baby diapers, baby formula, baby food. Um, that is just something that the bridge struggles with getting. Um, yeah. Our third issue was rising food insecurity. With inflation, this has increased reliance on the bridge ministries in the Brazos Valley area, um, because more families are struggling to make ends meet. Um, People are starting to live more paycheck to paycheck, and people's families are also starting to grow. I mean, this is one of the times in history where Brazos Valley is growing the most, and in that, it also causes shortages at grocery stores, and um, the rise in demand is going to cause suppliers to just continue and continue and continue to raise the prices, which will in turn just create more and more inflation. And yeah, rising demand reduces how much food can be distributed per family. It's as simple as that. With more families living paycheck to paycheck and the same amount of donations coming in, it's hard for families to get food. Um, and also, it just stretches the donation supplies really thin. Some families may leave with enough food for 4 out of the 7 days of the week, where they have to start stretching it thin. And there's families and especially children who aren't getting the nutrients that they need. But yeah.
Howdy, my name is Nicholas Heffernan. I am a group member of Team 6. So, why food scarcity matters? While the Bridge Ministries provides families with fresh, healthy items, many of the donations still consist of basic shelf-stable goods, such as canned soups or ramen. Over time, this can limit the variety available to families, making it harder to offer consistent options that are both nutritious and satisfying. Expanding food diversity ensures that families not only have access to essentials, but also enjoy balanced, dignified meals. So, for our project, we used client feedback to improve food variety. To improve the variety of food offered at the Bridge Ministries, our strategy centered on actively gathering and using client feedback, such as a Google form. By listening to the families we serve, we can better understand which foods are most desired, nutritious, and culturally relevant. Surveys are short interviews allow client to share their preferences and experiences, guiding donation requests and partnerships with local farmers and grocery stores. This approach encourages donors to focus on quality as well as quantity, ensuring that each family receives foods that reflect their tastes, traditions, and health needs. Ultimately, this feedback driven model creates a more responsive, dignified, and community centered food pantry system. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Taylor Higgs, and I'm going to be evaluating our success throughout this project. So, for the Bridge Ministries, we figured out the biggest thing was finding items that people need actually want and will use versus items that are there and available to them that they're more so likely not going to use. So we figured out the best way to do this is to collect a survey. And by doing that, it will assess what items people are in need that people in need really want and will use versus items like canned foods that they're not ever going to use and they're going to sit on a shelf. And the whole goal is to prevent waste while improving the quality and the quantity of the food that's being provided through Bridge Ministries. And we did research on this, and we actually learned through the Journal of Hunger and Environmental Nutrition that evaluating client preferences is going to help food pantries align for donations and what they can ask from people to donate, while also giving the community what they need and encouraging more people to come and use the Bridge Ministries pantry as a way to help them, especially in a time of need. And we, by showing our results and comparing them, it will show that it improves the balance and satisfaction through the food distribution that the Bridge Ministries is doing, and closing that gap of not having everything that they need and giving the people everything they could want and will use. It prevents waste, it improves quality, it saves money, and it helps the community as a whole, both sides, people giving and people receiving.
After our team surveyed a group of individuals who consistently visit the food bank, the number one requested food group was fresh produce at almost 36%, followed by proteins at almost 30%, and lastly, other, which includes ethnic items such as specific rices, pastas, or spices. With this information, the Bridge Ministries will be able to review this data and see which food items they should be requesting more of in hopes to reach more families in need.
Hi there. I am Avery Hawkins. I am in Group 6 with the Bridge Ministries, and today I'm going to talk about, after previously on the previous slide, we talked about how we gathered our data. So I'm here to talk about how our data was applied and how we kind of got our results. So first off, we asked the clients of the pantry their satisfaction with the food available before and after we used the preference data. Upon the donation guidelines we created, which increased the more requested items, we saw a significant increase all around in satisfaction, showing our plan worked. So you see this big jump that we had 34 people that were satisfied, like very satisfied, and were fine with the food, but that pretty much doubled in size when we actually implemented our QR code and all of our guidelines, and we got different food in there and food they would most likely want. However, I will say one problem we did have was it was a sample size of 168 randomly selected people, or actually, that was just how many we received in the QR code. So we could understand that the same people may have not filled out the QR code, and we may have skewed data because people have before who weren't as exactly satisfied, didn't exactly get the same food they wanted, or we have people that were satisfied but just didn't fill out the same QR code. Moving on to our results. So, overall, the results show that collecting client feedback had a clear impact on improving food variety and satisfaction at the Bridge Ministries. So, overall, people seem to be happy that we were changing the way people were donating, we were changing the type of food, more popular food, more cultural specific food. Just overall, it was better results. See, as if to explain better, most clients expressed a strong preference for more fresh produce, protein, and culturally relevant foods. As stated before, that was better for us ourselves and for them because we understood what was wanted and what was just they're getting it a million times, which is causing them to stop coming to the actual food pantry. So, in reference to our findings, these results mirror the findings that we found in our academic reading, which is at the end of this on a reference slide, that they themselves discovered that food pantries using client feedback strategies saw higher satisfaction and better alignment between donation and community needs, which we did see that in our results, as you can tell from this satisfaction level, because higher on average, higher people were happier, and we could see the more variety in foods that we got from our data collected using our Google Forms. But overall, we were very satisfied, and this would suggest that the feedback approach would effectively enhance both food diversity and client well-being. Thank you very much. And here is our references.